Hey guys, Savia here. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I was actually getting ready for bed. I just did like my whole skincare routine. I have my son. I was watching videos and we were kind of just relaxing, and there's this video that I've been wanting to do. It's been weighing really heavy on my mind and on my heart, and I just couldn't sleep, and I was like, you know what, like I need to do this. Like, this is important to me. So again, this video is gonna be a little bit different. It's not gonna be my makeup kind of videos. I wanted to talk about my chronic disorder and what I've been going through the last year. So July is actually going to be my 1 year mark, July 1st, and so it's coming up very quickly, and I really wanted to share this. I also wanted to share this because I've noticed a lot, like when I was really sick and doing a lot of research, there wasn't anything on YouTube. Like, there was no videos about what I was going through. This diagnosis is such, for me, it was such a lonely start. It was so lonely and isolating, and I just felt like it was, I had wished so badly that there was something, like a video or someone that I could like confide in or watch and be like, hey, like that person gets it. This person's going through what I went through. And if it wasn't for the Facebook groups, let me tell you, the Facebook groups literally have been what has gotten me through the toughest times of my life. And one person in particular, Jennifer, I'm going to shout out to you, girl. She has been like my saving grace in all of this. I have never met her, but I literally love this woman. So yeah, the Facebook groups, I can link them down in the description. They are so welcoming and they're so helpful, and the support there has just been amazing. So anyways, this video is going to be hard to get through. I'm sorry if it goes off on rants and rabbit holes or rabbit trails. It's kind of all over the place because it's kind of hard to open up about, but I want to be candid, and again, I want it to be a safe place where someone else can go if they're going through this, and you know, use my experience, and I hope it helps somebody. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive right into it. So my symptoms first started in January 2016. I had a pretty normal life. I was working full-time and I was going to school online, and then I have two children, and my life was pretty normal. It got a little bit overwhelming, and so in January 2016 I started developing a panic disorder. And I believe that was because I did have just so much on my plate. I just was so overwhelmed with trying to go to school and trying to take care of my kids, and I'm working 40 hours a week trying to provide for my family, because I was just trying to make a better life for us and for my kids, like I said. And I believe that was the culmination. I was driving home from work and I just had the worst panic attack, and I think it was the culmination of everything that was leading up to that, was just the stress and everything. So that's when it initially started, in January 2016. And I stopped driving. I stopped doing a lot of stuff because I just had panic, so much panic. I mean, I had anxiety about everything I was doing. I stopped seeing friends. I stopped doing my makeup. I mean, I was a shell of myself. And it did start to get better. I started on an antidepressant, and that did seem to help. And then right as I felt like I was getting better, sorry, I have my notes, I gotta look over them. April 2016, I got my first aura. And if you don't know what an aura is, it is literally the most terrifying experience I have ever had in my life. I was sitting in my chair looking at my phone, and all of a sudden, like, there was a pinhole and I couldn't see. And I was like, what in the heck? Like, I thought I'd just been staring at the phone too long. And eventually it grew bigger, and I couldn't see, and it just grew and grew and grew, and then it kind of like moved outwards, and then everything was flashing. So it was terrifying. If you, like I said, if you've never had an aura, it is so terrifying if you don't know what it is. I never heard of it. So yeah, went to the emergency room. They said, you're having ocular migraine. It's no big deal. Just go home and sleep it off. Okay, it's no big deal. If you've never had an aura, yeah, it's a big deal. So that's when all my symptoms really started, was that point, April. In May, I had my second aura, and it was just as bad as the first one. The first one I didn't get a headache. The second one I did get a headache. And I started getting other symptoms. I started getting numbness around my mouth, and then like numbness and tingling on the side of my face. In my left arm, like from my elbow down, my arm would go numb, and then in my left leg would go numb. So I would get these weird headaches that the doctors kept saying were sinus related, but like they would come with all these weird neurological symptoms. Like I said, numbness and tingling in my arms. And then so one day I was driving my son to school, and my whole left arm went numb. And I just was like, oh my God, I'm like having a stroke, I'm dying, panic, the whole, you know, when your body goes crazy and you think the worst. So I ended up in the emergency room that day, and I saw like the head of the emergency room, like the head, like the director, and the MD director of the whole thing. And he was like, he sat me down, he was like, I think you have MS. And so the director of the emergency department is telling me he thinks that I have MS. And I've never told anyone this because I was so scared that I was going crazy. So he goes, I think you have MS, and we're going to do an emergency MRI on you. Okay, so you tell someone with a panic disorder, you think they have MS. Yeah, it was probably one of the toughest days of my life. And I didn't tell anybody. I think I told one person that I was in the emergency room, but I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my best friend. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell anybody. I was literally in the emergency room by myself, thinking I was going to die. So, long story short, I had an MRI. 7 hours later, discharged. Your brain looks beautiful. Your brain is fine. That was really crazy to me because I literally am having all these crazy symptoms, and they're telling me that my brain is fine. So they chalk it up to anxiety and depression. Fine. So in June, so this is in May, and then in June of 2016, I ended up going to a retreat for anxiety depression disorder because I really thought that I was going crazy. I was like, nobody believes me. All these tests are coming back, and I'm going literally insane. I'm having anxiety, I'm having panic, I'm having vertigo, I'm having numbness, I'm having tingling, like I'm having auras, this weird stuff is happening to me. And all the doctors are just like, you're fine. Like, you're fine, girl. You're fine. Go drink some tea. Go take a walk. Learn yoga. Like that's, you know. So anyways, I ended up going to a anxiety disorder retreat for a month. Now, that helped a little bit, but it helped like my thinking, like how I thought about anxiety, but it did not help the physical symptoms. Like I was still having physical symptoms regardless of going through all this cognitive behavioral therapy, these group therapies, medications. Like it wasn't helping the physical sensations that I was having. The headaches every day, the numbness in my arm, the numbness in my face. It was awful. So this is all leading up to this big culmination. So all these months, imagine all these months of your life, you live a normal life, and then all of a sudden, in the span of like 5 months, everything goes haywire. And you just are like a shell of the person that you are. And so for 5 months, I'm searching for answers. I don't know what's going on with me. I have no idea. No doctor can tell me. So I do all these things. I do all these things that I feel like are the right things to do. So in July 1st, I'll never forget this date. This date will forever be a date in my life that has completely changed my life. So July 1st is the day I woke up with extreme vertigo. And by extreme, I mean everything was spinning, 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 spinning. I couldn't lift my head. I couldn't stand up. It was just like, I literally felt like I was on a boat in the middle of the ocean. It was so extreme. And so then here I go back to the emergency room. And this, I would say for the whole month of July, this is what I did. Every week I was in the emergency room because I was so afraid that I was dying, that I couldn't, and no one could tell me what was wrong. So anyways, I got diagnosed with labyrinthitis. If you don't know what that is, it's an infection or a virus of the middle ear. It's like a virus that attacks your ear. So I took steroids, I took antibiotics, I took, oh my god, I took so many antibiotics. Oh, sorry. I took so many antibiotics. I took, what else did I take? Nasal sprays. I took so many different medications because, oh, you just have a virus, you just have a sinus infection, like, you're gonna be fine, there's nothing wrong with you. Bullshit is all I can say. If you're going through this, bullshit, okay? Sorry, excuse my language, but it's bullshit. And I look back on it and think that was bullshit, that none of them did anything. Just because I had a clean MRI didn't mean that something wasn't going on in my brain. And I felt like these doctors wasted so much of my time, like, when they could have been sending me to the right place. Anyways, that's another video. So July 1st has been the day that my life changed. And since then, I definitely have not been the same person I was before, but I am doing much better. And so August of 2016, and in that time frame I saw two ENTs, and they both said it was migraine-associated vertigo. Now, migraine-associated vertigo is like a migraine disorder that causes vertigo and other neurological symptoms. So migraine-associated vertigo is like migraines, where you get all those crazy symptoms, but you also get the added fun effect of vertigo. So from August, oh god, August, September, October, November, I say for August to November, okay, I don't know, it was like 2 months where I was pretty much bedbound. I didn't get out of bed, I had spinning. I'm trying to remember all the symptoms I had because I want to make sure that people, like, understand the intensity of this and what I went through, and so hopefully it can help somebody. What I had was spinning. I felt like I was spinning, like I had drank too much tequila, and I felt like the room was spinning at times. I would also get this thing, I guess you could call it a drop attack, where I would feel like I was like being pulled down, like one side. So if it's usually my left side that and I still get it occasionally, but it's like a pulling and everything shifts. So it's like you're in like a fun house or something and everything shifts, and it takes my brain and my eyes a second for everything to stop spinning. And it is a horrible feeling. So I would get that. I would get this rocking, like frontwards and backwards, and it was all inner, like it was inner sensation of frontwards and backwards. I would feel like the floor was moving, I would feel like the walls were moving, so much spinning. It was just spinning, moving, freaking madness. I had every symptom, and then I would have auras and flashing, and I would have the sweats, panic attacks. Oh my god, it was so bad. I'm just blowing up tonight, sorry. Yeah, so this is where I'm going off tangent. I want to make sure I try to get everything in this video, but again, there's just going to be a follow-up to it. I just wanted to get the basic information and the backstory of how I got diagnosed. So I saw my ENT, I saw 2 ENTs, and they sent me to a neurologist. I saw 2 neurologists because the first one I couldn't stand. She was awful. And this is a good point to make, is if you don't feel like you're getting the care that you need, like, change doctors. There's no reason to stay with somebody if you feel like you're not being taken care of. And I stayed with this doctor probably longer than I should have. And every time I went, I just felt like she wasn't listening and she didn't care about me or like what I was going through. So I changed doctors. The first doctor I saw was in September 2016, and I changed doctors, I think around Christmas time 2016. And I've been seeing him now for 6 months, and he is phenomenal. He is so amazing. He listens to everything I say. Every time I message him, he shoots me a message right back. He has literally saved my life so far, I would say. My doctor, my neurologist I'm seeing now, and my Facebook groups have saved my life. So yeah, so I started really bad. I want to let you know, I started really sick, really sick. I couldn't get out of bed. I lost all contact with my friends. I thought I was the only one. I was so sick. I went to an anxiety treatment place, and the whole time I was having migraines. Migraines were causing all these crazy symptoms, and it's so important for you to advocate for yourself. If your doctor's telling you it's this and you think it's more than this, push for those tests. You know, I had the VNG test, which is where they blew the ear and the thing, you know, because I wanted that test to make sure, like, hey, I want to make sure this isn't inner ear. I don't want you just to tell me it's migraine. I had all these tests that ruled everything out, and that is, I'm so sorry, my phone is like blowing up. I should put it on silent. All those tests gave me that confidence, like, okay, my doctor knows what he's talking about now, and I can move on with this diagnosis. So now we're at the point, so I have my diagnosis, and now I'll just briefly go into my treatment, what I've done. I have tried nortriptyline, amitriptyline, Topamax, and there's another one. I think it's called Zomag or something. It's like a off-brand of Topamax. And so nortriptyline really worked, but then it kind of crapped out. So all those drugs were failed. They just didn't work for me. That's okay. We kept trying, and now I am on propanol, Effexor XR, and then I take a low dose of Klonopin. And I operate, I'd say most days, I do pretty much everything I was doing before. I'm driving, I'm going out, I'm shopping, I'm living my life pretty normally, but I still have bad days, and that's kind of why I wanted to do this video, is to let you know, like, there are days that are still bad, like, but there is so much hope out there. Like, there's so much hope now. Like, you don't have to give up. I can remember when I felt like I literally wanted to give up. Like, I wanted to die. Like, I just wanted it to be over. And this was also my coming out video of, like, you know, this is what I deal with. This is what I've been through, and I'm not going to be ashamed of what I have to go through. And, like, I hope whoever's watching this, like, if you're going through this with labyrinthitis, vestibular neuritis, migraine-associated vertigo, vestibular migraines, whatever they want to call it, I hope that you don't feel like I did. I hope that you don't feel isolated. You know, reach out to the Facebook groups. You know, talk to friends, talk to family. You know, you can message me on here. I've been through that. And every day is still a learning process. I can tell you that through this journey so far, and especially coming up to my 1 year, I have learned so much about myself. I feel like, oh God, I'm gonna get teary. I feel like I found out who I was. The darkest time of my life. Like, I found myself. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. It's emotional because when you're going through something so life-altering, you feel like you're so alone. And for me, I just shut down. I didn't invite anybody in. I shut down. But anyways, I found me. Like, I found my heart, I found my soul, I found my strength. Like, I feel like once this is all said and done, like, once I'm back to like 100%, like, I feel like I'm gonna conquer any goal that I set out to be. Like, I feel like I'm the strongest woman in the world, because I don't think most people could go through what I've been through and raise children and have a job and just function on a day-to-day basis. So this is my journey, and like, I hope to share it with everyone that comes across with this video and that needs that boost, like that lift. Like, there is hope, and like, this will show you so much of like who you are and like what you're made of, because we are strong. Like, going through a vestibular disorder makes you so strong. Like, you are the strongest person in the world. Like, that's how I feel about myself. Like, I feel like I am a warrior. And yeah, see, I'm going off on rant, so I'm so sorry, but that's my journey so far. This is my 1 year update. I wanted to let everyone know, especially if you're in the beginning stages of this, there is hope. You just have to keep persevering. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to go to these doctors and talk to them and know this isn't a life sentence. Like, this is chronic illness, but we are strong. We are strong. We can get through this. Reach out to people in your support groups. Reach out to these Facebook groups. I'm telling you, they're amazing. And don't give up hope. we're all here and we can all get through this. So yeah, I hope this helps whoever. And this is also, like I said, my coming out, like, hey, this is what I have. This is the first time I've ever really talked about it openly to my friends and to my family. So this is me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have gotten something out of it. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. Subscribe to my channel, like it, comment it. I will definitely do a follow-up with this. But there's so much information that I've gone through in the last year, so I wanted to get just a brief kind of rundown. So yeah, so now I am doing a lot better. I'm not bedbound. I drive every day. I go shopping. I go to lunch with friends. My life is not too bad. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions or comments, or you just want to send me some love, comment below. I hope you guys have a great day and a great life.